Oh shit! I already messed up, Drew. Forgot to play our intro correctly, man. All right, guys, if you can hear, your boy is sick as shit. That's right. Hey, I want to send a shout out to my boy Dan619, Chauncey Pros, who's just joining us, and of course my co-host all the way from the city of brotherly love, Philly Irish, True Evo. Guys, I just got back from Las Vegas, and of course Dan knows that. I hooked up with my boy Dan, and I got this killer video I'm going to share with you guys probably later. But Dan, as you could hear, I got bad news for y'all. I got bad news for a lot of people. I tested positive for COVID this morning. And last night I came home feeling like shit. We came home yesterday afternoon, and I felt awful, Drew. You know, I wanted to do a show and recap the great weekend of boxing, Drew. But I didn't have a voice, and I don't have much of a voice today. And I hope that anyone was around me, and that includes you, Dan, that nobody gets sick. My wife has it too, and I don't know, man. I just felt like I knew it was going to happen. Socializing with everybody, and it could have been anywhere or anyone, but man, Drew, thanks for reminding me that the show must go on. So long as we have a voice, the show must go on, Drew. 3 fights, 3 cards. Oh, man, what a wild weekend it was. Drew, did you see how many views that video of those comedians fighting on our YouTube page got? Why can't the Shoe Shine get 13,000 views per episode? What's wrong with that? Do people want to see comedians knock each other out? That's crazy.
Well, I don't know what to tell you about that. Fucking comedians. People want to see comedians knock each other out, I guess. They tell some bad jokes. Hey, let's watch them kick each other's asses.
People were responding to me on Twitter. When I posted it on my Twitter, it got like 6,000 views already. A couple of people were asking why the hell they were fighting without headgear. And that's a good question, because I don't think the Nevada State Athletic Commission would approve of that, even though they're just amateurs and they're essentially just comedians. But they took off the headgear, man, and it was entertaining as hell. I'm talking about Skankfest Comedy Festival. Our friend from the Howard Stern Show, Speech Impediment Man, was performing. He was down there with me. It was a raucous good time. And at first I thought I'm losing my voice because I'm screaming everywhere. But I was impressed, Drew. I mean, aside from the fact that it's an amazing comedy festival, I had no idea that they would be fighting downtown for free and giving everyone this free entertainment. So shout out to everybody who went to the Skankfest Comedy Festival. And I came back, if messing with the Skankfest, you're coming back with something. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man, Drew. The phone line is open if you guys want to get involved. Run PMC, what's up, man? I'm just letting everybody know I went on vacation and I came back with the COVID. So who knows when I'll be back to work. But here we are, Drew. We're doing the show, man. It's so many good fights. Saturday, it was crazy, right? Which one do you want to start with? Do we start with the ladies? Because the women made history this weekend, Drew, and I'll be upfront with you, man. Saturday was an amazing time. I went to Henderson to look at homes with a real estate agent because, my wife and I both want to move to Vegas, and it turns out my favorite Mexican restaurant has it's called Lindo Michoacan. They have one in Henderson overlooking the city of Las Vegas. So I went there, and it was great drinks, great Mexican food, and I'm watching the Michaela Mayer fight on my phone versus Alicia Baumgartner. I did not want to miss that. But man, the noise, the ambiance, the margaritas, the Mexican food, I could not pay attention to the Alicia fight with Michaela that well, Drew. But let's be honest, man, it was close. It was close. I mean, I wasn't, as big as my phone is. It looked to me like Michaela did enough to win this fight, but it's because I was looking for clean and accurate punches. But you had it the other way around. You had Alicia winning it, as did the judges this weekend in the UK. As sweet as a woman as Michaela Mayer is, I was disappointed big time that she showed poor sportswomanship after the fight. I mean, it was not a good display. It's what the judges thought, Drew. So tell me, why did Alicia win this fight? How did she edge it out? CompuBox definitely had her winning, but it didn't look that way to me.
Well, I scored the fight 7-3. And basically I scored 7-3 because she outboxed the round she won. I felt she outboxed Michaela Mayer. Like, it was she was easily countering her all night. She was outboxing her. She was nailing clean, accurate punches on Michaela Mayer. And she was countering her. Michaela Mayer, I felt all she was mostly doing was jabbing. And she's a slow starter. And at one point after 6 rounds, I had it tied at 3-3. After the 6th round, tell you the truth, I didn't really have her winning any more rounds after that.
Run BMC, shout out to Run PMC. He agrees with you, Drew. He says, I scored it exactly like Drew at worst, 6-4 bomb. And I'll agree, it was a very slow start for, not for Alicia, but for Michaela, it was a slow start. And then she seemed to take her foot off the gas in the late rounds, right? I expected more from the 9 and 10. So I guess in my mind, I thought she edged it 6-4 originally. But, I did watch a little bit of it back. And I can see how Alicia picked up the 6-4. There were some nice clean punches from Michaela, but I think, Drew, just wasn't enough for the UK judges. She wants a rematch bad. Alicia says, screw that. I'm going for undisputed, and rightfully so. She only needs to pick up that one last belt from the fighter named Choi, and she's undisputed champion of the world in her weight division. I'm sorry, Michaela. You're going to have to wait eventually, or maybe Alicia moves up in weight. Who knows? Your thoughts about, excuse me, guys, your thoughts about Alicia saying no to the rematch?
I don't blame her. Like, she should go for undisputed. Poor sportsmanship, first of all, from Michaela Mayer. I don't know how you thought you won that fight. You clearly didn't win that fight. And, how do you think you're going to win that fight when you kept on getting hit with power punches? You got hurt a couple of times in that fight. I thought she was going to go down in the second round. I thought she was going down almost. Alicia showed up. Michaela Mayer did it. And for her to do that sportsmanship and think that she won that fight, it's a little shit. You lost the fight. Big fucking deal. You just didn't like it that my bad, Dan. I didn't mean to do that for you.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, my bad, Dan. But here's the thing. If you look at it like this, Alicia outboxed Michaela Mayer. She did something that a lot of people did not think she could do. And Michaela Mayer didn't think she could outbox, that she could get outboxed by Alicia Baumgartner, and she did. She clearly got outboxed. And like one PMC said, yeah, I can go with 6-4 too. You can go with 6-4, but I gave Alicia the extra round because I thought she put that round out at the end with the counter shots. That one round that I was going towards Michaela, but at the end of it, she kept on getting countered at the end of that round, and I was like, I gotta give. She took the round from her on my card, so it was disappointing fight if you look at it from the way of the bad blood they got between each other, it should have been a better fight. It should have been like, hey, you know, it should have been a lot better with the bad blood between these two. And one PMC, I gave her rounds 4 through 6.
Interesting.
I gave her those 3 rounds.
Well, listen now, Alicia's on the verge of being a superstar. If she can defeat the other champion in her division, Choi, who holds the last belt she needs, she could become a woman's champ superstar, essentially. She's done 2 things recently that were beyond impressive. She knocks out Terry Harper, and Terry Harper moves on from that fight, moves up in weight, and now she's a world champion again. So for Mikaela, I don't know if she's got the height. If she develops even more muscularity, maybe she can move up another division and take on a champion there. But for now, Alicia's on the verge of wiping out that division and taking the last remnant of that belt and becoming a superstar. So congratulations to Alicia doing that, because she wasn't even an Olympic. You know, Mikaela kept hammering it. You're not, you're amateur. It's not we're not fighting in the amateurs anymore. And she kept hammering the fact that you didn't even qualify for the Olympic team. Look at my pedigree. And at the end of the day, sadly, she wasn't prepared physically or mentally and lost on the scorecards. And it is what it is. It's time to retool, go back to the drawing board. And Mikaela Mayer has still a bright future. And maybe she'll get that rematch eventually. Dan619, appreciate that, man. Don't forget, guys, to hit the like. I know this is not going to be my best show. I'm not even on cam because I'm sweating over here. Sweating bullets with this stupid COVID. Run PMS says that 7-3 card for Mayer was horrendous. Investigate that judge, though. Well, yeah, like I said, I was watching it with very little concentration, and I had it 6-4 originally for Mikaela. But again, I was barely paying attention. Drew, Claressa Shields, self-described greatest woman of all time, finally gets to fight in the professional league. Savannah Marshall, the only woman to have defeated her in her career. Were you impressed, man? Because I had to watch that one later, and I got to be honest with you, I did not expect that fireworks from both of these women. I mean, Claressa Shields has got some bombs. She could throw hard and quick, and she was fighting off the ropes. And Savannah Marshall gave it a great try. I almost had it a draw, but that one too, I said Claressa Shields edged that out, rightfully so. What are your thoughts on that fight? Both of these fights are really, really good.
I thought it was a great fight. I scored it a draw. I actually scored that fight a draw. I didn't think neither one was able to edge it out. Like, you know, Claressa Shields faded in the last rounds. In the last couple rounds, she faded and everything. Like, the game plan, it looked like the game plan that they had was Claressa they thought Claressa would be able to stop her early. And that didn't go. And unfortunately, she faded in the last couple rounds. And that's why I had it a draw on my card. I think there should be a rematch between these two.
I would love to see that. Yeah, honestly, including the Alicia Mikaela, it merits a rematch at some point. But the Savannah Marshall versus Claressa Shields absolutely merits a rematch. And like Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano this year, who also put on one of the best women's fights I've ever seen. Both of those fights were this year in this calendar year. I'd like to see them run it back too.
The one thing that I said this on Twitter and everything, these men can really learn a lot from these women because they're doing something that these men should do. Fight the best, fighting the best, not make it difficult to make fights and everything. Like, the two big, like, 4 of the biggest names in women boxing arguably right now in 2 fights fought each other on the same card. And, like, we having a problem, like, Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. Problem with that fight getting made is possibly not going to get made. I don't think it's going to get made.
Drew, that was supposed to take place in November for around the Thanksgiving week, which is typically a slow week in Las Vegas. I was really excited because I almost always go to Las Vegas in November, and it was going to be the week that I usually go. And things have come and gone, and it definitely looks like we're not going to see the two greatest welterweights fight this year in this calendar year. Maybe December, but I think it's going to be a miracle. You're absolutely right. These guys can take a page from what the women are doing, and that's the best fight the best. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait till Bud Crawford is, Lord knows what, 37 years old. I don't know, bro. I don't have good faith in that fight anymore. Speaking of PBC, because Al Heyman seems to be the one obstructing this great fight, Drew. They had... Yeah, go ahead.
No, but here's one more fact I want to point out, not me cut you off. Claressa Shields is not even signed to a promoter. Isn't that crazy?
Well, it is crazy. I mean, she went over and tried 2 professional MMA fights. In her first one, she gets a win, and the second one, she gets a loss. I know that she thought about permanently switching over to MMA, thinking that it might make more money and make more sense. And it's kind of cool that she's an independent agent. I think, Bud Crawford, I thought once he went independent, he'd have all the options in the world, and it hasn't worked that way for him. Y'all want to help take the stress off of Shoeshine, you guys can call in and be the third co-host right here. The phone number is 702-710-3627. Nando says, rumors of Stanionis and Spence now?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
All right, Drew, let's get on to the PBC card, because that one was pay-per-view. Another one of these retarded pay-per-views. Can I even say that? Can I even say that, paper? I'm sorry if I said the R word. They wanted you to pay money for that, and there was 2 KOs. So, Media, thanks for joining the show. 2 spectacular knockouts. Well, one of them, I titled the show "To Dive or Not to Dive," guys. The phone line is open. Drew had to step away. And if you haven't heard already, I came back from Las Vegas and tested for COVID this morning. So I'm doing my best here, guys. A sham of a freaking heavyweight fight. Robert Helenius, the former sparring partner of Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder, who, I recently remember doing this show about ayahuasca because he said he needed to try something like a psychedelic like DMT to find out to get an answer if he should keep on with his professional boxing career. And he did get a chance to come back and pick up a solid KO. I'm going to pick up the phone line right now. 510, you're on with the Shoeshine.
Hey, what's up, Dave? What's up, Drew, man? Calling chicken on the homies, man. Hope you guys doing okay.
Yeah, man. Drew's doing okay. This is the second time I've had COVID this year, bro. I had COVID in January. And this one is kicking my ass. I've had a fever all freaking day, but I'm gonna keep pushing. I know I'm gonna get better. Nando, what did you think of the women's fight or this PBC card, which I didn't even get to it, man, but Caleb Plant, where did that KO come from?
We talked about it last week, bro. Both those co-main event cards were like tune-up fights, man. It was already planned for, man. Like Darrell, he's been on his last legs for a while. I didn't expect the KO, right? I didn't expect that at all, obviously, from Plant. But, Darrell's seen better days. I think he's ready to retire. And, he got knocked out. It happens in boxing. It can happen anywhere in the street, man. If somebody catches you with the right punch, you get knocked out on the street, man, by anybody. Much less a professional boxer, and much more. And then with Wilder versus Helenius, that guy was his sparring partner before, man.
Exactly.
It's just, this whole PBC thing, man. Like, honestly, dude, I try to be careful not to go too hard at the PBC because I'm in favor of minority businesses, and I'm happy that there's some black ownership in boxing, man, because there are a lot of black fighters and they should be represented as well. And I was pulling for the PBC when they first went to like NBC and all that stuff, but they started off on the wrong foot from the very beginning, man. That in studio boxing. That very first card with Robert Garcia from San Jose, it was awful, man. They started off on the very wrong foot, the very first chance they got, and they got kicked off of NBC. They got kicked off of CBS. They got kicked off of ESPN. People don't remember, but they were actually on ESPN at one time, and they got kicked off of that too, So, and the reason they always seem to get kicked off, it goes all the way back to HBO, man. I remember having HBO when it was Mayweather and Al Heyman all mobbed up. And they used that leverage to put on a bunch of crappy fights on HBO before HBO finally kicked them off and they went to Showtime. You know, this has been their modus operandi forever, man. Like, and it's not even their fault, dude, because Al Heyman is doing his job. He's the manager for these fighters, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to know where's the quality control from these broadcasters, man? What is Steven Espinosa doing besides being like a PIC or a simp? You know, he's either a partner in crime or he's a simp. You know, because he just goes along with this, dude. Every fight's a tune-up. The next Benavidez fight coming up is going to be a tune-up.
Oh,
they got a fight scheduled next month for Morrell. That's a tune-up. Danny Garcia 3 months ago, that was a tune-up.
Well, was Caleb Plant?
That was Fox, but still a tune-up.
The Caleb Plant fight looked like a tune-up versus Anthony Durrell. You mentioned, he's been on his way out. Anthony Durrell has been on his way out for some time now. Drew, I was talking about that vicious knockout that Caleb Plant had, and then he was criticized heavily afterwards for the burying, the body dance he did in celebration. People called it distasteful. Did either of you guys think that was distasteful? I even heard there was, Anthony Durrell came out and asked people, if you find evidence that I made an assertion that I would never let a white boy knock me out, that he would pay you $10,000. So there was some racial overtones there.
A couple people found him saying that too.
Yeah, I think I saw that. Didn't Punch Drunk said he found the video or the audio clip?
I was trying to give it to him so I can get that 10 grand.
you think he's going to be honest and pay up?
Yeah, like I'll be honest with you, man. Like, if you look at it like this, man, the Benavidez fanboys, coming along and they were saying, oh, he's the boogeyman and everything. Oh, he beat like Durrell. But here's the thing. People are calling him the second best super middleweight in that division. He's not the second best super middleweight in that division because Caleb Plant, even though Durrell was on his way out, Benavidez fought a washed up Durrell, but he couldn't stop Anthony Durrell. Nobody stopped Anthony Durrell. Caleb Plant knocked out Anthony Durrell cold. Something Benavidez could not do. And if you compare resumes, even though it's not that much better, Caleb Plant has that fight that Benavidez doesn't. And he gave Canelo a little bit of problems.
No, he definitely did. You're right about that.
And the thing about it is, he is the second best fighter at 168. And I'll tell you this right now, this is a rejuvenated Caleb Plant. I think he beats David Benavidez. I think he beats Jamal Charlo.
Yeah, those are great fights at PBC. Which is why I'm mad too, Drew. I'm mad about it. Why are we hearing about David Benavidez versus the former Venezuelan champion Uzcategui, who got popped for drugs, and is really, even though he had the belt,
he's Caleb Plant's leftovers.
Yeah, he is exactly, dude. I'm feeling a little bit ripped off by David Benavidez. The resume is soft. Yeah, he was the world champion twice, lost it once on the scale, but his resume is thin. It really should be Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez next. It should be that, or at the very least, will we ever see Charlo move up to 168?
Here's the thing. They're never going to make that fight. It's never going to make that fight because Al Heyman knows in his heart Caleb Plant boxes circles around David Benavidez and beats him easily. Yep. And I'm going to tell you this right now. No, here's the thing, man. Jose Benavidez, man, this is to you, man. All respect to you and everything. Do not try to come at Canelo or any other fighters until your son fights somebody that's worth a damn that the people can't give a flying fuck about too. These guys that you got him fighting and got an Al Heyman and the PBC got him fighting is a crock of bullshit. At the end of the day, he should be fighting David Morrell,
a great prospect contender.
Caleb Plant, Jamal Charlo, and god damn it, fucking Triple G's a fucking free agent now. You can't fucking get him a Triple G fight.
Well, what about Andrade? What about the other free agent that he just mentioned right now, Andrade, Bubu Andrade?
He won't put him in there with Andrade because Andrade will do the same thing as Caleb Plant does. He might stop Benavidez because he has more power than Caleb Plant.
Has Bubu fought this year by any way?
Nope.
I can't remember. Bubu has not fought, released from Matchroom, or walked away from that deal. That is sad, bro. that inactivity is shameful that Bubu Andrade can't make something happen.
Like, I tell you the truth, I think he should have just took the Zach Parker fight, beat the bars off him. He's a good quality opponent, and get in line to face Canelo. You'll have an interim title.
Yeah.
I thought that was a bad business decision.
Well, the purse was really, really low, right, Drew? Regarding Bubu Andrade?
I understand financially why he didn't take the fight. I can go with that, but at the end of the day, you were inactive, and I think you should have took the fight. And I'm a fan of Andre. But I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm not biased towards anybody and everything. I'm gonna keep it 100. You should have just fought the guy. Get a good fight on your resume. It's a good fight at 168, Zach Parker. Very underrated, and people don't think it was an easy fight. Now he's gonna fight John Ryder. It's a good fight. I'll watch it. I wouldn't mind watching that fight. I think Zach Parker beats John Ryder, but hey. But at the end of the day, he said he wouldn't mind fighting Caleb Plant. It would be a good fight. I think he beats Caleb Plant slightly. I give him the slight edge over Caleb Plant, but this inactivity, you make the pedigree of a PBC fighter, man. Be honest. Like, I hope Caleb stays with this trainer that he's with now, because this guy's bringing out a killer instinct in Caleb Plant. And I'll tell you the truth right now. Caleb Plant gets a fight with Benavidez. He beats Benavidez, beats Morrell, beats Charlo. I don't see any reason why Canelo cannot turn down a fight with Caleb Plant of a rematch. And I will tell you this right now, it'd be a lot more different and a more difficult fight for Canelo, because this guy, he's having Caleb sit on his punches, and that's a dangerous guy that can box his ass off. Like, it can also hurt somebody.
Yeah, well, I hope his newfound strength isn't as a result of suspicious PEDs like we've been seeing recently in boxing. Hey, Nando, I appreciate the phone call. We got another call, man. Thank you so much for giving us a ring, bro.
Thank you.
All right, man. We'll talk to you next week.
Feel better. Thank you. All right, feel better. Thank you.
Appreciate that. All right, we got 661 in the house. 661, you're on the Shoe Shine.
Shoe Shine, what's up, my brother? This is Jose Compita. What's up, Drew? How you guys doing, man?
We're doing well. I'm hanging in there. Jose, I know you said you weren't feeling good. I came down with COVID, bro.
Oh, shoot, dude, you got the Rona?
I have the Rona, bro. I'm sweating bullets over here, man, trying to hang on to whatever. So I hope anyone that was around me, if you feel weird, definitely go get a test, man. Even an at-home test, because yeah, I wasn't expecting to come home with it, but I'm not surprised at all, man. But listen, we were in Las Vegas over the weekend. Yeah. Did you have a chance to see any of the fights after the fact? Maybe the Deontay Wilder dive controversy with Helenius. Did you see any of this action?
Yeah, I didn't get to see it live, but I saw the highlights and the replay and everything. But first of all, man, I just want to give a shout out to your show, bro. You're amazing. Drew's amazing. You guys keep doing what you're doing, man. Hopefully everybody hits that like for them, man. They put in the knowledge, they put in the work, they entertain us, and I just want to say, Shoe Shine, dude, you're amazing, bro. You are a great person, man, and I was glad to meet you, and I can't wait to meet again, man. And back to the boxing, yeah, I catch the highlights, man. I was surprised that Caleb Plant got the knockout.
Yeah.
And it is true, like Drew says, it looks like he's sitting on his punches, and it was perfect place. He went to the body and then went up, so he caught Darrell really good, but. Obviously, it's still improvement. Hopefully, they do make that fight, the PBC fight within house, him and Benavidez. I think it'll be a great fight. It's a good test for both, you know. But I don't know if it will happen or not. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping it does happen. In the Deontay Wilder, I'm not surprised. Yeah, he did lose, but obviously he lost to one of the greats, Tyson Fury. So it looked like those losses had humbled him, and it looks like he went back to, you know, being lighter instead of heavier,
right,
being able to move more. But it was one round, so I still want to see him fight somebody else and, you know what I mean, show us a little bit more, at least like in the 6th, 7th round. But it was a great knockout for him, great boost win for him. I just hope he gets like the right fight next. I wouldn't mind, just because I think it's a name, even though I think Deontay Wilder will beat him. Him fighting Reese, Andy Reese, just because it's a name out there. You know what I mean? Yeah. If he can't get nobody else right now in the ring. So I think it's a good, you know, it'll be a good pay-per-view. If they put the card together, a good little test. I still think Deontay Wilder would beat him. but I think it will take a little bit more rounds. But that's my opinion.
But Drew, what do you think about that fight, man? Two former world champions. First, he mentioned Andy Ruiz, the first Mexican-American heavyweight champion of the world, and then former champion Deontay Wilder. That's an in-house fight that I would be tempted to buy that one.
Well, the rumor is that the WBC is going to do a final eliminator between these two. But I do not want to see another Tyson Fury-Deontay Wilder fight. I'm sorry, I don't want to see a full fight. And, like, to be honest, I think the next fight that could possibly be made after the Ruiz fight is a Joe Joyce fight.
A great
but
fight.
I don't think Al Heyman will put him in there with Joe Joyce. I'll tell you this right now. I think Joe Joyce will knock out Deontay Wilder.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. The guy's got a granite chin, and like you said, it's hard to imagine that being made because PBC doesn't have the best track record of working with promoters outside of that realm. The fight to be made is Andy Ruiz versus Deontay Wilder sometime next year, man. I like that fight.
It's a good fight. I think Deontay Wilder knocks out Andy Ruiz. I don't think Andy Ruiz is in that gatekeeper status, in my opinion. Even though he got 2 wins, Ortiz, which I thought he's really not there anymore. Best guy he beat was fucking Brian Jennings, and fucking Chris Arreola knocked Andy Ruiz down twice and hurt him numerous times, and it should have been a lot closer than the judges had it. He looked horrible against Chris Arreola. So, like, I really don't think Andy Ruiz. I think Andy Ruiz is heading towards that gatekeeper status of boxing. Like, he just fucked up his career too much since that Joshua win and everything. But tell you the truth, I think that's the only sensible fight that Al Heyman will see right now for Deontay's appointment there with Andy Ruiz. Then after that, they're going to try to get a fight with Tyson Fury again, probably, but it's not going to happen. It's going to be undisputed, and I think Tyson Fury, win or lose, is done. So I think Usyk's done too after undisputed, because I think both these guys have talked about retiring. Tyson Fury, even though he went in and out of retirement, but Usyk really says, hey, I got like a couple fights in me at most left and everything. I want to be undisputed. Once I'm undisputed, I'm out. I don't blame him. Yeah, he has fast hands and a granite chin, but here's the thing. Has he really? Deontay Wilder has that equalizer. I think Andy Ruiz might not be able to take that equalizer. I always said Deontay Wilder is a harder puncher than Anthony Joshua. It's only a matter if Deontay Wilder can land the punch. So, if Andy could get inside, I can give Andy a good shot at beating Wilder, but I just don't see it happening.
Drew, I'm so sorry, man. I had to put this picture full screen up here. I don't know if I screwed up the show, but this one, Little Penny, I ain't seen you in the room in a long time, and Little Penny is here. Little Penny.
Whoa, who's that?
I know he's got perhaps a crush on this YouTuber, and he asked for it. He said, when will I collab with Norma? I don't think she'll ever collab with me because I'm not really a creator on her level, and she has no interest. But I'll say it was nice hanging out with her. My girl Rhonda's very close friends with Norma, and it was nice to be at this event. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Do you have a crush on her too? Little Penny in the house. Little Penny says Norma is cute. Is she single? I don't know. I honestly don't know, man. She's friends with my friend Rhonda. I know that a lot of guys that watch her on YouTube like her. She's very popular.
Tell Philly Irish Drew Evil, put an Irish guy in her life.
Little Penny says, what event was that, bro? That was that Rocktober YouTube. It was a YouTuber conference in Las Vegas that I went to, and it was a great time. But I'm here sick now as a result. And Sarah said apparently there's a lot of people kind of sick. So shout out to my girl Sarah H, who was up in here. All right. Hey, you still on the phone, compita?
I'm still here, man.
Hey.
I'm still hanging, man. I'm still hanging.
Let's move on to this event, Drew, because the Devin Haney fight versus Kambosos last week, that was the thumbnail, and Devin Haney, he got the opportunity to move over to Top Rank, and in that, he had to commit to fighting George Kambosos again after beating him in the land down under Australia, and he kept up to the commitment, Drew, and he went back down there. Nobody expected something different, but Kambosos, I saw the whole fight, man. He came out crazy in round 1, 2, trying to switch from orthodox to southpaw, doing the funny little dance. A very patient Kambosos just waited for the guy to make mistakes doing that. And Drew, it wasn't long before Devin Haney started timing Kambosos. And yes, Kambosos had a different game plan, but it was ineffective, Drew. Was it ineffective because the guy's never done that shit? You know what I'm saying? Like pretending to be... Bubu Andrade is kind of ambidextrous. There's some good fighters that can do this. But, Drew, was it... I think Kambosos even changed trainers, man. I think they gave him the wrong advice. He had a lot more moments than the first fight, but he got picked apart and picked apart bad. It was bloody.
He tried to do what he did with Teofimo, and he went away from it after the first round. It was like, why would you go away from it? You had success in the first round with it. And then they just had him going away and everything. And he got picked apart and everything. Like, now he's talking about retiring.
Who is? Kambosos?
Yeah, I'm hearing that he's talking about retirement.
Well, I hope, he made enough money on these 2 fights with Devin Haney. He got the opportunity to have both of them fights in his backyard, which Haney didn't. I don't think on any day Haney would ever lose to Kambosos. So I was watching Paulie Malignaggi's breakdown. Shout out to Paulie. And he said, you have to take into consideration that maybe Teofimo really wasn't 100%. And it wasn't that it was necessarily a fluke that Kambosos beat Teofimo, but that on that night, it was 100% Kambosos or even 110%, and that's all it took to fight a less than healthy Teofimo Lopez. This version of Kambosos, even though this fight was so much more exciting, Lil Penny said it was exciting, Kambosos is never going to beat Haney. And that leaves us to the issue now. He signed a deal with Top Rank to fight at 130. He didn't sign a weight class deal. He signed a 3-fight deal, but he knows damn well that Lomachenko is the 3rd fight that Bob wants. And unless he vacates and by the way, he looks sick as shit making weight. I thought he looked awful.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see that picture?
I'm not going to comment on that because
I don't know. I thought he was going to fight less than. I thought it was not going to be a good performance, but man, Haney his hand speed was impressive. I think he could still make 135, and it's very possible he intends to fight Lomachenko. But why? Why does Bob not just say, the rising star of 135 is Shakur Stevenson, who can't make weight. Now he's at that division, Drew. Why can't we get Shakur Stevenson versus Lomachenko first? Have those two. Why do they merit? Why does Haney have to fight Lomachenko? And I'm going to be real with you guys, and I know Drew's going to be mad about this, but I don't think the aging Lomachenko beats this Devin Haney, Drew. I just don't.
I think he does. I'll be honest with you. I don't think Kambosos is really as good as he was advertised and everything. Yep. This was an easy fucking fight for Haney, both of those fights. And to tell you the truth, Haney's never fought anybody with superior footwork and a pure boxer. Yep. So for that, and he's never fought any. In the last southpaw, he fought Jojo Diaz. He had a lot of difficulty with him and everything. Guy inside it, Will. He was able to land punches on Haney, really, to the body and everything. Would have done that early in the fight instead of running down big on the cards. Probably would have won that fight. So that Lomachenko fight, it's not going to be easy. I don't expect him to beat Lomachenko.
Okay, shout out to Run PMC. Drew, he says, how many rounds will Loma download data versus Shakur? If he's spending 4 rounds downloading the data on Shakur, he loses the fight. That's a slow start. Nando Lama says, I'm sorry, Drew, but Loma doesn't beat either Shakur or Haney. Sorry.
I think the only one that beats Shakur Stevenson is Lomachenko.
Those are fantastic fights. Those are the great fights.
I think nobody beats Shakur Stevenson but Lomachenko. He has the best chance to beat him.
Even at this age, even in his mid-30s, the late 30s. Not a problem? Not an issue?
He's 35 years old. Tell you the truth, I still give him the edge to beat Devin Haney. I think he stops Devin Haney. Like, I'm telling you, Devin Haney is not going to take this fight. He's going to move up.
You think he's going to move up? Hey, as Ryan Garcia, a social media star boxer, he's moved up to 140. It'd be a welcome. I mean, hey, 140 is one of the hottest divisions. But Drew, if these three do have a triangle fight, I'm not sure I've seen enough of Lomachenko post-surgery of that shoulder that he wins these fights against these two very young, active, rising champions in Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson. And to be honest, I would love to see those two guys fight even more so. I'd like to see Shakur versus Devin Haney. Two phenomenal athletes. They're just incredible athletes. I mean, both of them have things that remind me of Floyd in his peak. But lately, I think Shakur Stevenson looks like when he's in the ring, he looks like the guy who wants to do damage. He looks evil almost. And then Devin Haney's got this incredible ring IQ, incredibly slick defense. He's a true counterpuncher. Paulie Malignaggi said that today. He said, hey, Kambosos is not a real counterpuncher. He was trying to set up some counterpunching. And because he's not a real counterpuncher, it just wasn't working, man. Devin Haney sets the traps. I'm excited for all those guys to fight each other, Drew. But Devin Haney did look really skinny, man. I would welcome that move up to 140, Drew. And then, you know what? Then we have no choice but to see Loma, who will never fight at 140. He's too small, natural featherweight. I would love to see Lomachenko versus Shakur Stevenson for maybe the vacant belts. Who knows, man? Who knows what's going to happen, right?
First of all, Nando, Gary Russell was a big fight. He dominated Russell, almost knocked him out, won every round. Rigo was a big fight. First got to stop Rigo down. You don't count them as big fights. I don't know what the fuck a big fight is to you in your mind. Just saying. Because there's every fucking episode. Loma's never won a big fight. Loma's never won a big fight. What the fuck is a big fight in your mind? But nah, here's the thing, man. I'll tell you the truth. I saw a poster, but someone put, I guess he's a Haney fanboy or someone says he has like Tank, Loma, Secure, and somebody else. He says Haney beats them all. No, he doesn't. Shakur Stevenson destroys Devin Haney. You thought Devin Haney was good at boxing. Shakur is light years ahead of him. And like I'll be honest with you, it's a funny that now all of a sudden had the Haney fanboys and everything. Like, it's just funny nowadays. But nah, I'll tell you this right now. Haney loses to two of them, at least. Haney loses to Lomachenko and loses to Shakur Stevenson. But if he goes up to 140, I think the ideal fight will probably be Teofimo. And I'll tell you the truth, I think he beats Teofimo Lopez. If he easily beats George Kambosos in both fights, I think it's the same thing with Teofimo. If we can say, oh, you know, Tia had all these excuses, I don't give a fuck. Kambosos still beat him.
Drew, Kevin Pregram's got a great question. He's asked this question for all three of us, including Jose El Compita. Between Shakur and Haney, which of these two guys do you both have an edge in that matchup? So I'll go first. I got Shakur beating Devin Haney at 135. He beats him. It's stylistically a fantastic match, Drew. I mean, it's the two brightest stars, two brightest African-American boxers there are out there right now, and they're both about the same age, man. But I have to favor Shakur Stevenson's ring IQ. And he has the mean streak in him. I love the mean streak, man. He's got that mean streak developing, and he's actually, I think he's finding his power too as he gets a little bit older, and that may play a difference because we've seen Haney. Was it you, Jose, that was telling me that you were not impressed after you saw Haney do the chicken leg dance when he was hurt by Linares?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with you, Shusha, and I give the edge to Shakur. They both, but don't get me wrong, they both. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong, man. Like Deontay Wilder's in this fight, you know, give respect to all boxers. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter their wins and their losses. Give all of them respect because at the end of the day, they do put their lives on the risk, and people forget that. So I give anybody at that level respect. Nobody's a bum. Obviously, there's classes though, like they could be a C level fighter, B level fighter, A level fighter. And I believe though, even though Haney, does have some skills and he is a great counter puncher, I don't think he has that power. Even if he tries to stand and throw, I just don't think he has the power. And I think Shakur, like you said, is growing into it, and he has all that IQ. He's been lately walking, and I was very impressed with his Valdez fight. When he fought Valdez, he stood his ground. He outboxed him, but he stood his ground at times. So I see Shakur, he's not afraid to stand toe-to-toe when it has to. Obviously, he don't need to, he can box around you, but I think he has more cojones than David Haney, and I think he'll take him. But don't get me wrong, I really want to watch it. I think it'll be a great fight.
And Drew, your take?
I think Shakur Stevenson stops Devin Haney inside 8 rounds. He's too good of a boxer. Devin Haney has not ever fought a pure boxer in his career. And I'm telling you this right now, Devin Haney, his perfect punch is that jab. But once that's neutralized, he has no chance. And I think Shakur Stevenson takes that jab out in 3 rounds and out of the equation. And it's smooth sailing until the stoppage. Like, Devin Haney his defense is a liability for him. If you get inside, he'll attempt to clinch you because he's not a good inside fighter. And that's where Shakur Stevenson takes over at. He will get inside when he wants to, and when he tries to clinch, he'll bait him in trying to clinch, and he leaves himself open, and he'll knock him out with an uppercut. That's how I see it.
All right, we talked.
What, Drew?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, my bad, Shushan. Just one quick little point. Bringing it back to Loma, I totally agree with you. He has no inside game. That if Loma was able, obviously Loma has to go inside, and I believe Loma has the skills and the footwork still, even at this age. He'll go inside, and I think he'll create a lot of damage to Haney that I think even Loma could probably stop him too late.
All right, guys. Hey, this weekend I'm looking at this fight schedule. I can't find it. If I'm incorrect, guys, let me know in the chat about this weekend boxing events because I can't see anything. And we just spent some time talking about the lightweight division. Of course, Lomachenko, it looks like he's going to get an opportunity now that he's not fighting in the war in Ukraine. He's come back to training full-time. He's on the schedule October 29th versus Jermaine Ortiz, a Puerto Rican kid who has this surprise win over Jamel Herring. Drew, this guy's a club fighter who every opportunity on Top Rank, out of nowhere, he comes up with a big win. So Jermaine Ortiz, congratulations to him. He's not supposed to be fighting the world's best fighters. Beats Jamel Herring, former world champion. It's going to be fighting Lomachenko, Drew. But I think, of course, Lomachenko, 400 wins in the amateurs, Olympic champion multiple times. He's going to be too much for Ortiz, man. But good for Ortiz for getting this fight.
It's a good experience for him.
Yeah, I mean, what does he have to lose? What does he have to lose? The guy's not supposed to be there anyways, and he's got some upset wins. Also on October 29th, we started off the show talking about the comedians boxing, and we have the big YouTuber, the biggest YouTuber fight in the world is going to be on Showtime pay-per-view. Oh, man, I can't believe he's on Showtime pay-per-view versus Anderson Silva. I will not be buying that pay-per-view. Jose, I was telling Drew that downtown in Vegas, there was a fight. The comedians were fighting, and next week I'll make sure to bring it up and the video up. But they had, I think his name was Bas Rutten, who was a MMA legend. Mm-hmm. They taped up 4 comedians and put blindfolds on them, and then they had Bas Rutten in the middle. And then they had the comedians try to fight blindfolded Bas Rutten, and it was the most funniest shit. He was just kicking them he was doing leg kicks, and these guys were swinging in the air. Yeah. It was freaking hilarious. I mean, a lot more hilarious than these YouTube fights. It was pretty damn funny, man. I have to admit. I appreciate everyone tuning in.
I gotta check that out, man.
No, I'm gonna put up that video soon on my YouTube because I did put up one third round of this comedy festival boxing, and I got 13,000 views. So I'm gonna go upload that one this week. I appreciate everybody for joining me this week. Hope to get better much faster. Actually,